Welcome to today's edition of In Conversation With. My name is Nolizo Mhlaba and I will be your host. The In Conversation With series is brought to you by the Anzisha Prize, and it is an opportunity for us to engage with different stakeholders across the youth entrepreneurship ecosystem. Thank you for tuning in. In today's discussion, we continue to dispel the notion of parents as a forgotten stakeholder in the youth entrepreneurship ecosystem. We've said before that parents can play the role of cheerleader, investor, customer, business partner, marketing team, and many other things to very young entrepreneurs. But today we're going to focus specifically on parents as the teacher and role model. And it is my pleasure to welcome a mother-son duo to share their experience with us around that. So, Mrs. A and Ademide, welcome. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much. It's indeed a privilege and an honor to be doing this interview. My name is Temilola Adepetun. I have run as an entrepreneur career in the gas industry and journey of entrepreneurship. And I started the Pioneer One-Stop School Shop in Nigeria. It's called the School Kids Shop. So we started in the year 2000 with one branch, and now we have five retail stores. And we started our wholesale arm of it 5 years down the line. That was in 2005. And currently we service about 500 schools across Nigeria. We also have started our own garment production. We have our own label. We have our own uniform label called Master of Use. And we've diversified a bit into distributorship and also humanitarian aid as well. In September this year, I'm proud to say we're going to be, the business is going to be 20 years old. So that's it from me in terms of introduction.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And congratulations in advance on your 20-year anniversary. Ademide, please tell us just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Ademide Adepetun. I graduated from African Leadership Academy in 2015. And after which I went to Northeastern University in Boston to study business admin with a focus in marketing. And 2.5 years in, I came home and told my parents that I actually wanted to delve more into the marketing side and go to art school. And they supported me, thank God. And I am now studying, I'm going into my final year of film and video education in Massachusetts College of Arts and Design, which has been it's been an eye-opening experience, and I've still carried, the entrepreneurship and the business values with me, for sure. I have forwarded in a bit of, my entrepreneurship journey. I started up when I was 19, in about 2016, 2017. Started with like clothing brands and stuff like that. And just little forays that, put a little bit of pocket money in my pocket. And now I'm gearing up for a proper merchandising branded brand that should be hopefully launching next month. So looking forward to that.
Okay, cool. Ademide, thanks so much for sharing a bit about your journey since you left African Leadership Academy, and looking forward to this new entrepreneurial venture that you're embarking upon. And congratulations actually for getting to this stage. So if I could maybe shift the conversation or direct us to a discussion around the world of work and what it looks like right now. My question to Mrs. A is, since you joined the workforce, how has the world of work changed in your view?
Okay, it has changed because I started my working career in 1986, and my entrepreneurial journey in 2015. 2000. It's first of all, technology has done a lot for us in terms of being able to use laptop, internet, emails, and all the various means of communication. That has changed a lot. And for my entrepreneurial journey, the software that's available for sales and management of inventory. Mm-hmm. Then next is digitalization of the banking industry, especially in Nigeria. It has made it easier for us to transfer funds both locally and internationally. And back in the day, there were no funds for women entrepreneurs. But now there's a lot of, and all over the world and in Nigeria has got onto it. We have funds that are targeted at business entrepreneurs. So that's what has changed.
Okay, thank you for sharing those observations. And so obviously, I think when people think about entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs, there are almost two opposite extremes that they think about. On the one hand, they imagine the billionaire types, and on the other, they imagine people who are, struggling to make ends meet, neglecting the reality that there's so many different kinds of entrepreneurs along the spectrum. So I'm curious to hear what have been some of the highs that you have enjoyed as an entrepreneur.
The highs have been being able to expand my business in terms of moving from retail to wholesale, being able to reach many other states, even though we're not located there. Mm-hmm. And I'd always dreamed about having our own label, which we started in 2009 through contract manufacture. But through the gender-based funds that were available there's a bank in Nigeria called the Bank of Industry. So we can access the funds there through a commercial bank. Mm-hmm. We had always dreamed of having our own local factory in Nigeria, and we're able to access those funds after, much ado, but we did access it, and we're able to expand our business and have our own standard international, factory, international type factory, garment factory production. And that was a dream come true after like 10 years of conception of the dream. So those have been my highs.
Okay. And it's great, I imagine, just to see how the patience along with continuing to grind, that can lead to those moments where you finally see yes. the fruits of your labor coming to life. And on the flip side of that, what have been some really hard moments that, Ademide has mentioned that he himself is an entrepreneur and he's likely to experience some challenges himself. But if there's something that you wouldn't want him to learn the hard way on his entrepreneurial journey, what would be some of those lessons?
First and foremost, it would be because I entered into a business that turned out to be seasonal. So I did some research, but I didn't quite think it would be that seasonal. So there were periods where we didn't make any sales at all, especially after school resumed and everybody had all their requirements. So I would say research a little bit more about your business and then have multiple streams of income. I was moving from career to entrepreneurship. I focused on this one line of business. So the first few years when the revenue dipped, the lows, every business has a cycle. So in the low periods when the revenue dipped, it was really hard for me. So I took up some training and all of that to fill in, to get in revenue for those times. But I would say have multiple streams of income so that there's a backup if you enter a seasonal business like I did. So the first 5 years were very tough for me. And but that changed over time, and as we diversified as well, so that you don't just service one sector or one industry. I would say diversify. Then I started my business at age 40. I would say if you want to go that way, maybe you should start earlier at about 35 or thereabouts.
So at Anzisha, we have a campaign. Essentially, our mission is around encouraging young people to start exploring entrepreneurship much earlier than tends to happen. So, I'm excited to hear you talk about the potential benefits of starting much younger. And also the idea of having multiple streams of income is one I've heard often. And I think the reason why entrepreneurship has a branding problem, I would say, amongst parents, the reason that they imagine people are living hand to mouth or always struggling is probably because they have seen entrepreneurs who put all their eggs in one basket, and so things don't work out that well for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so as an entrepreneur, what do you hope, what skills or habits or mindsets do you hope your children have picked up from you, from observing you or seeing you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Okay. I know there's also a follow-up to that. So I was going to say that I'd answer the next two questions with what I did with my three sons. I have three sons, of which Ademi is actually the last. So what happened was observation purely, because of course when I first started, we had to have exhibitions. Sometimes during the holidays, I would need extra hands when we had a lot of inventory come in. So I got them to help me during the school holidays, all three of them. And especially the older two, because I was younger when I first started. And then they also saw me serving on the shop floor, knowing that regardless of whether I was a visionary or the founder or the managing director, I would serve customers on the shop floor. So at least that way they knew that entrepreneurs have to be hands-on. And by the time Ademi started high school, I started asking him for feedback on our products, and which he gave me freely, and feedback from his friends as well. And that's to show that whatever you do, you need to always improve, and you need to be open to feedback. So they'll give us feedback on the quality or the style and the trends and things like that. And then generally, I would generally get home, and if I've had a tough day, I would get home and talk to my family about my tough day. So I shared the highs and the lows with them, so also the triumphs as well. And, that gave them the sense of reality of business. And so they could see both sides of it. I'm one that has always believed in, as soon as they're old enough, when they're in their teens, don't shield them from the realities of life, let them know at various times. So my children are always known at various times, and they've learned to understand life. When I was working, I shared with them as well in my career, in my business, family relationships, other relationships. So Ademi would always tease me and say, Mom, every moment is a teaching moment. So I try to keep them well-grounded. So that's what it is. Secondly, another one is financial management skills. From when they were young, whenever I sent them on errands or they went to the supermarket to get groceries or their back to school stuff, I'd make sure that they bring receipts. So I taught them accountability, being accountable for money, making sure that you bring back the change, you bring back the invoices and things like that. And by the time he was going to high school, I would ask him to go to the shop and pick whatever he wanted. But either I would give him the money up front or he would bring the bill home. So it wasn't about just going to pick up something in mom's shop. He knew, and his two older brothers knew that whatever was picked up from the shop had to be paid for. So that way they knew that there's business, a business is a business, and you can't just go and pick something from there. You have to separate business from family, as it were. Discipline, I've always been a strong one for discipline. Be very, very disciplined. And I correct them all the time. This is what you do, at every, most opportunities that we have, that's what we've done.
Thank you for sharing all those lessons. And I'm curious to hear from Ademide. What did you learn? What are specific things you can point to, whether it's around the what your mother taught you intentionally or what you observed just by watching her, on the shop floor or during the exhibitions? Can you speak a little bit more to that?
Definitely. So I think she did a good job of like summing up some of the things she saw me observe. But more specifically, with my time in the work space, especially helping out with inventory or even just follow, I used to follow her to work when I was younger sometimes and things like that. And even later on in life, the past maybe 3 years or 2 years, I became one of her clients in her factory. I observed like the interaction of people in the company and how she interacted with people and how she managed people. There's obviously she's at the top, so she's managing down. So things like delegation and obviously people management. The factoring in emotions, also factoring in personal life, and understanding that humans are humans, and also being very human in that regard. For instance, if a worker is having a kid, giving them like a little grants and stuff like that. Also being privy to the different departments in the company from a young age, that just it allowed me to kind of map out in my head just the peripheral kind of different components that a business needs. You need a sales team, you need an accounts team, you need a marketing team, stuff like that. So from a young age, I kind of knew kind of what went into making a business. Not so much the specifics then, but more now, especially with the fact that both my parents own their businesses as sole proprietors. It gave me the understanding that it's very possible to kind of like create your business or to create something from the ground up and build something from the ground up and pretty much work for yourself, which has been a huge meta narrative that has enabled me to be where I am right now and on the path that I am right now. One of the things my mom, and one of the things I adore her for, is that she learns from anyone and anything, no matter what age, no matter what job role, anything. Like she learns from anyone and any situation. And like she said, I tease her that everything's a teachable moment, because in her own life, everything is a teachable moment. And that has been a huge help in terms of understanding the world better and how to navigate it and little quirks. I often joke that my mom is a firefighter. That's because obviously in business, naturally, due to either human error of employees or due to, difficulty in logistics, and obviously, we're in Nigeria, where the regulations can change at any moment, or the banks can be very funny or stuff like that. I've seen her put out many fires in a day, and it's been fascinating to watch her kind of stay on her toes and maneuver these different obstacles and reach favorable conclusions to them. The process of I mentioned the process of delegation. That's something that has shown through, especially actually now we're telling her to delegate more and more, because we're trying to wean her off to become like the chairman as opposed to the MD and stuff like that, so the company can begin to run itself. And just the importance of a strong team. I watched her build the team and change the team over the years, and it's amazing, literally, what the type of people and who they are and their values, how that impacts the business. It's been amazing to watch and to learn about that process. And I think that's pretty much in a nutshell what it is. And multiple streams of income, that's the name of the game I'm learning now. She has she started off with this, school kid shop, which was, retail facing and selling of goods. You get it from wholesale and then you sell retail. And then now she's backward integrated into actually manufacturing her own clothes that she sells and manufacturing other things and having the capabilities to produce multiple income streams through that as well. So it's been fascinating to watch that grow and understanding that multiple sources of income and, cash flow and inflow, that's the cash flow is the name of the game, and the importance of that in terms of paying back debts and, debt financing and things like that. So then kind of the nitty-gritty of financing a business and all the things that go into it I've been privileged to that information as well, which has been a great help moving forward.
I'm in awe, and I feel like, you could probably run workshops or something just to help young entrepreneurs understand just what it takes. And just thinking about some of the skills and practices that you both talked about, whether it is agility around problem solving, or being creative about how to address different kinds of problems that come up even when you least expect them, as well as the people management piece, right? I hear something there around how to be a team player, but also how to be a leader of others, and even the technical skills around hard skills around financial management. I think those are definitely skills that people cultivate and get better at as entrepreneurs, but they're also skills that anyone really should have. And just thinking, if I put this in the context of our programming, it's saying, how do we teach young people these skills so that they can navigate whatever career path they pursue, whether it's entrepreneurship or it's being a doctor who is entrepreneurial and that sort of thing. And so I think for my next question, I'm curious to hear, what are 2 or 3 strategies you think parents can use in their households to actually help their children to thrive once they leave home? And so this is, parents who may or may not themselves be entrepreneurs.
Before that, there's just a little bit I wanted to share about Ademide's, my support, or our support as a family for Ademide's entrepreneurship journey. And that's that as early as age 12 was class captain, and we made sure, we helped him. I used to download a lot of articles on leadership, assertiveness, positive leadership, and all of that. And later on, aspirations to become a head boy. Of course, going to ALA was one of the best decisions we took for him. He went to ALA for the GSP, and he was very impressed. And to him, it was ALA or nothing. And then after he started at ALA, I got very involved in ALA myself. She's left 5 years ago, and I'm still, I still help to mentor new parents, even 5 years on. So when he started, his business ideas, I used to talk to him extensively about it. I would educate myself about whatever he's trying to do, and I would use my business to support him in any and every way. Provide, persuade him to engage an intern, which he did at one time. He wanted to do everything himself. I said, no, you have to work as a team. So I, just practically, I said, okay, let's look for somebody that can be an intern, that can do the basics, and then you do the specialist work. And then his first debut, when he launched his clothing brand, Your Pet Spectrum, we actually produced all the props. We actually brought out all our own props and supported him, office equipment, bags, invoices, everything that he would need to be able to sell. And I'm proud to say the very first time he sold out, when he launched his brand, that was July 2018. For parents, one of the big things I would say, when we were growing up, we were told what to study. You would either be a lawyer, accountant, and all of that. But right now, there are so many career choices that are at their disposal. I'd encourage parents to be open-minded about the future career choices, and course of study that their children want to pursue. And the important thing is for parents to educate themselves on that course of study, and then engage their children, let their children, convince them, give them justification and all of that. Yes, you can lend your experience as an older person, but it's important that we allow our children to pursue their dreams and not ours. Some of us want our children to take over our businesses. That's not their dream. We must let them express themselves. We must let them pursue their own dreams and follow their passion. Because it's a known fact that if you are passionate about something, you have a zeal for it, you are bound to do well in it. So it's important that you let them do it. And this keeps them on course. And remember that whatever career or business or whatever path that they choose is more or less for life. So you don't want them doing something that they're going to be unhappy with. That's creating a problem there already. Support them in whatever way and pray with them. We also know that the world, sometimes people say, but you're studying something very rare, you cannot work in Nigeria. I said, yes, the world is a global village. You can work anywhere, and especially in Africa now that is emerging in various sectors. Lastly, we must keep our children well grounded. We should let them know the facts of life, share our experiences with them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes we tend to sugarcoat everything. So our children do not know, and we are overprotective. We shield them, so they do not know what the real world is. Teach them to abound and abase. When you don't have enough funds to do something, let them know. Let them know that, okay, we have to manage things now. When there's plenty, let them know also, so that they will know that life is full of cycles. And when they come across difficulties in their own life, it will not be strange to them, because they would have heard about it, they would have experienced it at some point, and it will be easier for them to cope. The other thing I've learned, because I only have sons, is that as they become young adults, we need to modify our communication style with them as young adults. It should be dialogue and not issuing instructions. We should learn to look at them as adults who were educated, who have received a good education, who have their own opinions. And we should, just seek their opinions on different things as well. In terms of grooming them into adulthood, we should teach them about our cultural and family background to ensure that they imbibe these concepts. And these are the things that will influence their behavior in the context of our culture and even in the workplace, because I'm very strong on that. I say, look, this kind of behavior cannot, it will not work in the workplace. So these are the results to bring. Give them practical examples and they'll understand. So it's important that we should engage our children, be open-minded with them, study their attitudes, their mindsets, their personality traits, and we should seek to be their friends, to influence and not control. We should advise them and guide them, such that when they need to make major decisions, you are the one they turn to first. They don't go to outsiders.
Really, those are such rich nuggets of wisdom, and just some that stood out to me were the need to be open-minded and to engage your children, especially just in how you communicate with them and how you treat them, right? It's a dialogue, and you are seeking to influence and not control. Wow, that's powerful. So Ademide, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, but just as we come to the end of our conversation here, I would like to just give an opportunity to both of you, if there are any final thoughts or insights that you want to share before we wrap up.
I guess for the parents, this newsletter is for parents. And for the parents out there, I would like to just acknowledge, I guess, the brilliance and the, what's the word? I guess grace of my parents in terms of what my mom said, being friends with your children and influencing them, not commanding them. Because that has greatly, for me and my brothers, that has greatly, influenced our confidence in the world, as individuals in the world, and has enabled us to maneuver our own lives and make decisions for ourselves and weigh those decisions wisely, because they gave us the freedom to do so and pretty much put our own lives in our own hands. And this is something I think that's a great quality of parenting, I think. And I'd like to commend my mom, actually, because she's done a fantastic job, honestly, because it really does influence how you stand up in the world. And that, I think, that's amongst the many gifts and the many provisions that have been made by my parents and my mom, and I guess my mom specifically now. That's the greatest gift that she's given us, to be able to make our own decisions and to stand up for ourselves and to have a voice. It's unparalleled. It's unparalleled, especially in Nigeria, in African societies where parents, tend to do the opposite.
Wow, That's so wonderful to hear. And Ademide, I love to see, young people just giving their parents all the roses. So that is a wonderful note for us to end on. And I thank you again for sharing your experiences and just honoring us with your, just the lessons that you have gleaned from just not only your entrepreneurial journeys but your relationship through that. And so yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. And thank you again to both of you for this time.
Thanks, Ms. McClellan.
Much.
Thank
It's
you
indeed
very
a
much.
pleasure and an honor. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, and to everyone listening in, we thank you for tuning in and look forward to our next episode.